A very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk LinkedIn. My co-host has not arrived yet, but it is 9 o'clock Belgian time, and I figured I get at least the session started for today. If anybody is interested in joining this session on the podium or in the studio, as they say, you can always scan the little QR code and you can join me in the studio to chat about LinkedIn this morning. In the meantime, I will be waiting for my co-host to join us, who's probably on the road to the studio at this point. Looking at LinkedIn over the last few weeks, I haven't really seen a lot of major changes on the platform. I do think that over the course of the next weeks, we will be seeing new announcements. This week is actually the week when LinkedIn has a kickoff week. It's also the week when Microsoft will announce the results of the fiscal year 26. Looking forward to what they are going to put in terms of LinkedIn messages. And then thirdly, also looking forward to seeing what's in the report about LinkedIn. I assume that we are close to announcing that we are at 1.4 billion members on the platform, but we'll have to say. And on Wednesday evening, if I get it right, we will be we will see these numbers and results. So probably in the course of the week, some people will actually report on them. Now, to today's topic, and still no sign of Guy at this point, I will still continue. I'll switch gears for a change, and I'll go to the topic for today, which I wanted to talk about with Guy, and which sits on your profile in the analytics section of your profile. There's a bunch of things that are in there that might be of interest to you, and they can actually help you to make your usage of LinkedIn a little better. So most people don't take the time to actually go through this screen. I look at it very extensively and at different points during the day and during the week, of course. First of all, I mean, when you get to your overview, you've got, how many impressions did you get over the last week? It's a rolling number now. It used to be a little more fixed, but now it's a rolling number, so it looks at the past 7 days. When you click on that number, you can dive into what are your impressions for 7 days, a month, or 28 days, 90 days, 365 days. So this number is being kept for a whole year, so you can look back. The nice thing about going to the impressions is if you then export that number or that data, you will get an Excel spreadsheet with at least some things that gives you an idea of what the best day of the week is, for example, to get number of impressions or engagements. It's a nice little thing that you can run on a regular basis, to get a bit of a sense of how are your posts doing, how's your follower base is growing. The nice thing about this is when you look at the Excel spreadsheet, you will also get the top 50 posts. Now, for some people, that will probably be the last year. If you post once a week, well, you'll have a post for every day or every week of the year. In my case, it's about a month to a month and a half, maximum 2 months of posts that I'll be seeing. So the impressions, for what it's worth, it is a great number to know. For me, the value lies into the fact that I can see what are the best days when I get impressions and especially when I get engagement. The second number is your followers. Obviously, you can keep track on a regular basis of how your following basis is growing and so on. The third number in your overview is the one that talks about the profile views. So how many people actually looked at your profile in the last, 90 days. In this case, it's a great thing to look at. When you head over to that piece of data, you will see who are the people who checked out your profile. Depending on their privacy settings and yours, you might see or not see them. Also, the one I don't like in there is your profile was visited by 50 people with a recruiter. I would like to know who those recruiters are. Another very interesting statistic is the one that talks about your search appearances. And this is how many times your profile actually showed up in, in a search. And before I go on, good morning, Guy. Welcome to our Friday show.
Good morning, Nick. A bit late, but
Yes, I
I'm
assume
here.
it was traffic. Oh,
Sorry, you were saying?
I assume it was you were stuck in traffic.
Yeah, I had an issue.
No problem whatsoever. As you know, I already started a little bit about the subject of the personal analytics. I talked a little bit about the impressions, the followers, and the profile views. I was just going to start on the search appearances. Is that a statistic that you take a look at regularly or not?
Sure, I think all statistics are important to work with, some more than others.
Mhm.
But yeah, indeed, if you want to reach out, if you want to be informed about the people visiting your profile, about the people who interact with your comments or
Mhm.
posts, these are the numbers you would like to look at.
And I mean, we always talk about the people who post and comment and stuff like that. The search appearances, in my opinion, are valuable for everybody on the platform because it tells you really how often people see your name, profile picture, and headline show up on in a search operation. So it is a good idea to keep track of this number. Unfortunately, LinkedIn does not take the statistics, doesn't register the statistics in a file, so it is not one of those things you can download. You need to manually track that number.
Yeah, but still, it has some important stats to look at.
Definitely. And it comes actually with two different statistics. I mean, there's the search appearances, which really is how many times did your name show up in the list. But there's also if you click on that number, which by the way resets on Thursday morning. So every Thursday morning it goes back to zero,
Mhm.
and then the number is calculated for the next week, and then at the end of the on Wednesday night that number is put in there. So you always look back a week. Um, but the nice thing is if you click on that number, you will see a different and probably much bigger number, which is the number of times your profile appeared on somebody's smartphone or on somebody's desktop. And I mean, that 1169, which is the number I had last week, is small versus the, I guess, roughly 30,000 profile appearances.
Yeah.
And meaning my people saw those three elements somewhere. And again, this provides you with an interesting input. Plus the 30,000 or odd, I think I can't remember the exact number, but is that it LinkedIn tells you where that happened. Was it because you posted, because you gave a comment, because you were found in a search, or LinkedIn actually suggested you to people in, the suggestions on who to network with, or suggestions in your home feed. And that really is valuable information and insights for being visible on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it shows us network recommendations,
Yep.
and all these numbers are interesting to look at. The point is statistics are only valuable if you work with them.
Yes. Yes.
And someone told me once, and he is in merger and acquisition. So you have statistics. Statistics, you have lies and you have big lies.
Yep.
So it also matters who formulated these statistics. Can we trust them? Where did they come from? I mean, LinkedIn doesn't show you all their data.
No, I agree. And then that's obviously the biggest flaw in all these numbers, where you can wipe them off the table by saying, well, we have no idea where these numbers actually come from. There's no transparency about these numbers. But it's the best LinkedIn shows us. It's something that's been there consistently. It shows you trends. And I think that's more important than the actual number.
Exactly. That's very important to mention, Mick. These trends gives you an idea where to go, where you need to take action, or
Exactly.
where to loosen up.
I mean, one of the things that I use, for example, the profile appearances, is I do regular changes to my profile. And so sometimes I'm trying to see if I can find a reason why all of a sudden I get either more profile appearances or profile views. Obviously, it's the numbers you have to work with. Whether they're right or wrong, nobody knows. But still, finding or linking your behavior to these numbers, at least it can tell you a little bit about what you're doing right and probably what you're doing wrong.
And what I like about these statistics also, Mick, is it wasn't meant to be, I think, but it shows you, for example, the people who visited your profile.
Yep.
And normally you would think, okay, I will get a name and a picture if
Right.
people have them. But sometimes you get someone at
Yep.
this company, or
True.
in my case, I know the person because I know the company. Or intellectual property specialist in the legal services industry from this part of the Netherlands.
Mhm.
So people still haven't opened up their profile completely.
True.
Some of them, and are anonymous or partly invisible
Mhm.
to others on the network. So I'm not sure if that's a choice they made, or something they just forgot to toggle on a switch, or deliberately like to be invisible.
I think over time, LinkedIn has used a different default setting for the visibility of your profile. I think in the beginning, it was default, you see everybody.
Mhm.
Then it kind of switched to you see nobody. And then and I think today, oftentimes, I think it might be in the middle position, which is you see something, someone in this business or somebody from this school or something like that. So I think, and people are not aware of that. People don't go to their
Exactly.
privacy settings to check out which one is it.
Exactly. So, in the case of the intellectual property specialist, I'm going to ask her, because it's a woman. I'm going to ask her if
Mhm.
it was done deliberately, or she doesn't know it.
Right.
And with this, you also get out of your bubble, because it works two ways. If I can't see you, you can't see me. Right?
Yeah, because actually what your selection defines what you are going to see, unless
Exactly.
you have a premium subscription, which then complicate, or which opens up a little bit of the element, but it doesn't take it away, though, because as you know, and like you, I have a sales navigator. In my case, it's an advanced one, but it doesn't matter. When recruiters visit my profile, or when someone from a company visits my profile, that's what I get to see.
Do you ever work, Mick, with the button interesting viewers? And I think the name itself, interesting viewers, who decides who is interesting, in this case LinkedIn, but interesting viewers, like people who can help you get a job or works at a company you follow, or senior leader with your job function, or senior leader in your industry?
Yep. I personally, I don't really use it that much. I mean, I think for me, the interesting ones are A, the ones that are completely visible, and then B, you kind of go through the list. If you do that on a regular basis, it's not a million people a day that visit my profile, as you can see. In the 90 days, it's about 1,200, 12 between 12 and 1,500, and anywhere in between that. Which means, it's at best 20, 30 people a day. So I kind of look at who they are, their headline, and then that's where we're going from. I'm not going to click on who's interesting or whatever, because I again, probably I don't trust LinkedIn enough to make the right choice for me.
Yeah. Okay.
You?
Sometimes, but like you, not on a daily basis. But it's still sometimes out of curiosity, or just interested in, well, who's the person? What does LinkedIn say?
Yep.
Who's interesting for me?
Yep.
So it's the game of having numbers, and what do you do with these numbers? Basically.
Yeah. I mean, I also think there's a bit of an urban legend growing, in terms of, we all know the expression, you need to, comments get more views than if you post. That is only true if the number of posts you do is small, and maybe you do a bunch of comments on other people. I mean, in my case, to be honest, I mean, 50% of my views of profile views and the statistics in this little search appearances, they still come from posts, and only 40% comes from comments.
But in your
But
case,
then
Mick,
again,
you post on a daily basis.
yes,
So
yes,
that means that the majority of your activity will be attracted by viewers engaging at your posts. And it also depends on how many comments you will give apart from these posts on a daily basis. So if you're very inactive in commenting, as a theory, the attention would go to your posts, obviously.
yeah, but the reverse is also true. If you post maybe once a week or every other week, I mean, of course your comments are going to be, bigger
Yeah.
than your post. So I think it's something that needs to be put in the right
Active.
elements, or in the right situation, because you can't say it's black and white.
No, you never can. No, true.
Plus, you never know how many comments or how many impressions your comments will lead to. I mean, if you comment on maybe somebody with a very popular post, you might get 5,000 impressions on a comment, but for the same token, you could get 50 or 20 or 10.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I find the value of that again, it's the trend, it's the long term. The 51% is the long term, because every week it is different. I mean, sometimes it's 60-40 or 60-30. Sometimes it's, 40-40, who knows? But what we're really looking at with these numbers are trends more than the actual numbers themselves.
So what's the most important trends you've seen in the past period, Mick?
What I'm seeing, one of the trends I'm noticing recently is that the suggestions, my profile being suggested to other people, have gone up comparatively to what it was, but has nearly doubled
Okay, in a period of.
in the last 2-3 months.
Okay.
Which I mean, it used to be. We're not talking big percentages here, but it used to be around 1% or so compared to all the rest, and now it's basically over 3%.
Have you ever seen these kind of trends?
No, nobody's talking about these things. I have found, or very few people are looking at that type of data. But I've just done an extensive article, which I'll publish next week, about the numbers that I found and some of the things that I've discovered over the last over this year. Because I mean, I don't compare to 2025 because 2025 was a whole different year. I just looked at the last 7 months now.
But there, Mick, we could talk for hours. We could even write a book about data. I mean, there's so much to learn about
Yes.
These numbers that I can't imagine a majority of LinkedIn users is looking at.
That's the thing. It's the thing. But also the thing is that if you're going to be looking at statistics, you have to be willing to take action based on these statistics.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're chasing vanity.
So let's make it smaller, Mick. So you have to take actions when you work with these numbers.
Yeah.
The people I work with are sales professionals, engineers, bigger companies. I work a lot with manufacturers. Yep. They don't take the time to look at these stats. They work with clients. They use LinkedIn to be visible, but not in a big way, the way you and I work with.
Yep, agreed.
So, what would it take for them to, or what would your advice be for people who don't work with stats a lot, if they would take action on just one or two things?
Well, I think the idea is, in my opinion, is you need to run a bit of stats. You need to have a bit of a history to find out the trends that you have, and then relate that to what the objective is for those people to be on LinkedIn. Because I think it all falls apart if you don't have a goal or an objective.
But would it take to create, for example, a spreadsheet, Excel, to put few numbers in every single period?
Yeah, for example, I mean, one of the things that you could look at is, for example, and this is a really simple one, is how fast is your network growing in terms of connections and in terms of followers, and do that on a monthly basis.
Okay, and you get these data from your data file, right?
You don't even have to go to your data file. You go once a month, you look at your connections in your My Network, and you go to LinkedIn lists how many followers you have. And if you take note of that number, you'll see if your network is actually growing and how fast it's growing. And over 6 months, you'll have a bit of an idea of, how is it growing. The next step then would be going to your invite file and see how many people did you actually invite and how many people did you accept.
But then the question would be, well, I'm just talking about this sales manager. Jan is his name. That's his real name, Jan.
Okay.
So John, and he has a 500 plus network,
right.
But he hasn't got a huge network. He works in the company for over 30 years. And he's not that active on LinkedIn. He puts up a thumb, things like that. But He's the old traditional fashion guy, so
Right.
to speak. But he embraces LinkedIn. He works
Okay.
with it,
Okay.
and he reposts when
Okay.
marketing department asks him to. So, and on the other hand, you have the person a bit more active on LinkedIn, but
Mhm.
not a lion. I mean, like to grow your network with anybody.
No, 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 no. I'm not. I'm not preaching big numbers. It's just we all go from the conclusion that your network has to grow with quality
Relevant.
and and fitting your objective for LinkedIn.
Hmm.
So your network doesn't need to grow 100 people every month. If you have a very focused approach, and it needs to grow with the right people, and that could be two or three.
Yeah. But going back to the numbers we just mentioned, so
Mhm.
connections, followers. So
Right.
you will see a trend.
Yep. You'll see a trend is, are you adding people to your network? Is LinkedIn oftentimes deletes people from the platform for all kinds of good and not so good
Hmm.
reasons.
Yeah.
But maybe your network is all of a sudden you're losing people in your network. And so you could go like from 500 plus to like 496 people that you're connected with.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault, obviously.
No, I know, but the bigger question is, what does this trend tell you, or what can you do with these numbers
Well,
afterwards?
maybe it can question you um, how actively you're prospecting through LinkedIn
Hmm.
and adding people to your network, um, and keeping in touch with these people. So I think that's really what you got to look at is am I using LinkedIn as part of my sales prospecting activity, and then bringing all these people together into my network.
Yeah, but over the years, Mick, I've seen a trend that, or I'm not sure if it's a trend, but it's the amount of people I speak, I
Mhm.
talk to, that they have a profile on LinkedIn, but they're not active on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So they made up. No, they not made up. They created their profile so many years ago,
Yep.
and basically that's it. They don't engage that much. They don't post that much. They're on LinkedIn.
The the reality is, and this is a number that LinkedIn has to report to the European institutions, only about a third of the LinkedIn community in Europe, and it varies, but it's around 30%, 33% of the people on LinkedIn are actually active on a monthly basis.
Yeah,
So two-thirds of the LinkedIn community is actually not going to the platform on a monthly basis, which is kind of like scary.
it is. I was approached a couple of weeks ago by a big energy company active in all of Europe to to organize a summer school session.
Mhm.
And that would mean just one session of, well, they don't have a lot of time, so maybe 2 hours.
Mhm.
But they want to do something with well, some uh, people said, I want to do something with LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then I'm wondering, okay, what results are we going to get out of these 2 hours? Awareness, sure. So it's a long-term activity, probably, but it's probably creating awareness of what LinkedIn nowadays is all about compared to what perhaps they saw a couple of years ago
I,
when
I
LinkedIn was a different sort of platform.
yeah. I think when I would get a question like that, it basically in 2 hours, what you can do is a presentation about what can you do with LinkedIn, what are all the different options, and then from there they are either will be inspired to pursue one, and there's an extra training in that, or they will just say, well, it's not for me, and I'll go away.
Exactly. And this is still a kind of company that said, well, you can't post. You need to have approval from marketing department.
Hmm.
So it takes out all the creativity and all the personality and all
True.
human perspective of being active on LinkedIn.
Which kind of like brings back a point is that all our profiles are personal profiles, and theoretically, the company has nothing to say about what we can and cannot post.
Exactly, and that's also why I'm an advocate of creating or um, managing your company page, because if your personal sales, well, the person leaves the company, you have nothing.
True, true, true.
So it's a combination of those two, basically, Mick.
Oh yeah, no, I agree, but I
It
think
was funny to hear that people were not allowed to post until it was approved by marketing department. And I thought,
I
well,
mean I
20.
understand if they want to share the company, if they want to share information about the company itself, or from the company page. I mean, whatever, but the company has nothing to say about, you know, it's your personal profile, and it's not a company profile. It's not like something the company pays you to have a profile, and to actually shout in name of that company. It
No,
just
but just to mention, Mick, that we still have these type of
oh,
companies. They
yeah.
still exist.
Oh no, I hear that complaint or comment often myself, in all honesty, and I always have to laugh, but um, it's hard to change the fact that the company, i.e., the marketers or the manager of the company, must relinquish control, and it's a matter of we want to control what is being said about this, even though there's a lot of stuff being said about this which we don't control.
Yeah. And
So
talking about, because we well, I mentioned that we could write a book about this
yeah,
subject topic. What about the other book, Mick? How is it going with your first book you launched?
it's going okay. There, I've gotten my first LinkedIn recommendation on the book. Somebody has endorsed or has recommended my book as a LinkedIn recommendation yesterday, which I didn't expect. Especially it was somebody who I was not even connected with.
Really? Okay.
So I connected with the person, sent me a connection request because they wanted to write that recommendation for me. Is like, okay, let's connect. We had conversations before on LinkedIn now.
And there's one thing I guess you have to change in your profile, Mick.
Go ahead.
And I'm a bit surprised you haven't done it yet.
You mean
We
put in
have
my headline the word author?
no. In your profile, you have a part with the title publications.
Ah, yes. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that one.
But it's nice, Mick, to see a recommendation of the book. I've just started. I have some unfinished other books to read first.
Okay.
I will read it absolutely, and I'm looking forward to learn more from you and to see where we can have a new discussion on one of our LinkedIn lives.
All right. Nice. It is 9:35. I know we started a little later, but I think we're going to wrap it up here, as not too far beyond our normal time. Thank you, Guy, for joining me again today.
Thank you, Mick, and well, still a lot to talk about when it
Yeah.
comes to data.
Definitely there is, and I'll be putting out a bunch of posts in the next week or so about data in general, and as I said, specifically about the profile appearances and search appearances, because there's so much data in there that people don't even realize, and it's not that hard, except you need to catch it manually. So
Yeah.
we'll do that. All right.
We'll be back.
Everybody who tuned in, thank you. Have a nice weekend. and we'll speak in 2 weeks in English, and next week we'll be back in Dutch.